The pandemic and quarantine have introduced disorientation and alienation. It is unlike any other event in world history. The emotional and spiritual danger for our youth is especially great. Their need for the Stephenian community has never been more. That is why the school developed our plan for the 2020-2021 academic year. Stephenians, moving forward together. This plan is designed to address the intellectual, emotional, physical, and spiritual needs of our students. Never before has the Stephenian philosophy been more relevant. Our commitment to educate the whole child, mind, body, and heart, in community. To understand this system better, let's glimpse into a day of off-campus guided learning using internet tools. We will have to move fast to see all of the exciting things happening at St. Stephen's. The source of all truth is God. For that reason, we will begin each day with a devotion and prayer. The love of our country and our fellow countrymen is a virtue. Every morning, we will sing the national anthem to communicate our affection for our nation. Now it is time to begin our academic classes. Our students check their daily schedule. Our ninth graders will start with an English lesson by one of our wonderful teachers, Ms. Ramos.
A blessed day, class. Today we will continue with our lesson in verbals. And to start right off, I'll be sharing you my screen. Let us have a brief recall of what transpired last meeting. So previously, we talked about how some things are not as they appear. Take the case of verbals. They look like verbs, but they do not actually function as verbs. And then previously, we also had a preview of the different types of verbals, namely participles, gerunds, and infinitives. Last time we talked about participles. This time we'll talk about gerunds. So please take note. What exactly do we mean by a gerund? A gerund, by definition, is a verb form that acts as a noun and ends in ing. Based on this definition, how is it different from a participle? Okay, very good. A participle acts as an adjective, and it doesn't always end in ing. Remember, we also have past participles. Now take note that a gerund may function as a subject of a sentence or clause, as an object of a verb, or as an object of a preposition. Let's take the first one and elaborate. So how do we know that a word is functioning as a subject of a sentence? Yes, it's the topic of a sentence. What else? Okay, it's a doer of the action. Now, based on that, in the definition that you see in here, which word in the first sentence do you think is the gerund functioning as the subject of that sentence? Okay, very good. It's gaming. Try the next one. Traveling. Very good. Next. Okay, learning. So far it's easy, right? Now let's proceed. Okay, here we have the gerund as an object of a verb or as a direct object. Now, if earlier we had the gerund acting or doing the action, this time we have the gerund receiving the action. Now, can you tell me in the first sentence, what is the action being done? Okay, we have there the word loves, right? Now, take note that a direct object responds to the question what. So she loves what? Okay, so reading here is the direct object. And since it is not functioning as a verb despite its form or despite it ending in ing, it's not a verb, okay? So here we have reading as the gerund functioning as the direct object. Okay, so try the next one. Is it drawing or interesting? Which is the gerund? Okay, very good. It's drawing. Interesting is what type of word or what word? What syntactic category? Okay, it's an adjective because it describes. Now try the next one. Okay, very good. It's singing. They do not appreciate what? My singing. Okay, so let's proceed. Here we have the gerund functioning as an object of a preposition. Now look at this first sentence. Already, it's obvious that that is the gerund, okay? It's a noun and it ends in ing, but then how do we know that it is an object of a preposition? Hey, very good observation. It follows the preposition on. Okay, so can you give me more prepositions that you know of? Okay, with, by, at, in. Okay, very good. All those are correct. Now try the next sentence. Okay, dancing is the gerund. What is the preposition? Okay, very good. It's to. And the next, speeding, preposition for. Very good. Okay, let me take a pause. Do you have any questions so far? If there's none, let's have a short exercise. Okay. This one class you'll find in IXL. We have the topic here. This exercise identifying gerunds and their functions. Let's try to answer a few items together. Okay. So here you try to select the gerund or gerund phrase. Okay. By gerund phrase, we simply mean you add all the modifiers. Okay. Now again, look for the noun that ends in ing. What do you think is the answer? Okay. Let's try and see if that's correct. Okay, very good. Now, give me the function of that gerund phrase. Is it object or preposition? Let's see. Now, let's try here. Let's check what makes this object of a verb instead. Okay, according to this one, if you look at, you have here the word stop. Okay, so that is the action, and this phrase is the receiver of that action, and that is why this is object of a verb, not preposition. Now, don't worry, we'll try to answer the next one. Okay, try this. Noun ends in ing. Okay, amending. Let's see. Okay, very good. Now, what is the function of that gerund phrase? Let's see. Okay, very good. So class, if you have no more questions, I expect that you can now do this on your own. So I'll be assigning this to you. Okay, it's easy. You will find this in your recommendations tab once you log into your account. If you have no more questions, let's call it a day. Okay, goodbye, class.
Thank you, Ms. Ramos. You are one of the reasons why our students routinely outperform their peers in written and oral English. Now it is time for math class. Did you know that our teacher, Mr. Barbo, has led our mathletes to victory, winning the Stephenian in Matarang Matabay, defeating opponents such as Manila Science and Philippine Science High Schools. One of his students also has gone on to win a medal at the International Mathematical Olympiad, the most prestigious competition of its kind in the world. Let's see what he will teach our 8th graders today.
Good day, grade 8. Welcome back to your math class. So for today's lesson, let's start with recalling how to solve this problem. The length of a rectangle is twice its width. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 60 centimeters, find its length and its width. So let the width of the rectangle be x, and the length be 2x. The perimeter of the rectangle can be used to formulate the equation for us to solve this problem. We know that the perimeter is equal to 2L plus 2W. We could substitute the values of L and W. Then simplify the equation. We will obtain 4x plus 2x equals 60. Combining like terms, we have 6x equals 60. And finally, dividing both sides by 6, then we have x equals to 10. So from here, we say that the width of the rectangle is 10 centimeters and the length is 20 centimeters. Recalling the method that we use, we had actually the linear equation in one variable. Now let's try this problem. The length of a rectangle is 4 centimeters longer than its width. If the area of the rectangle is 60 square centimeters, find its length and its width. So also, the width could be represented with x, and the length is equal to x plus 4. Then the area could be used to formulate equation to solve this problem. And we know that the area of the rectangle is equal to the product of its length and width. Now, substituting the values, we have x plus 4 times x equals 60. In this case, we have to distribute x, so we have x squared plus 4x equals 60. Now observe the equation that we arrived. Is there anything new to us here? Anything unusual term to you? Yes, you are right. You observe here, there's a presence of x squared. This kind of equation, we are not familiar with, or some of you are not yet familiar how to solve this. This is actually what we call the quadratic equation in one variable. Now, for us to explore more on quadratic equation, for today, we will focus first on recognizing quadratic equations. So our objectives include, at the end of this lesson, I will be able to recognize if an equation is quadratic or not, express a quadratic equation in its standard form, and identify the values of a, b, and c. So for us to identify if a quadratic equation or not, let's start first with its definition. An equation that can be written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are all real numbers, and provided that a is not equal to 0, is what we call a quadratic equation in one variable. Also, if the quadratic equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where the right side of the equation is equal to 0, then we say that that quadratic equation is in its standard form. Now, since we know already the definition, maybe we could proceed to this example. So let's have the first one. We say the following are quadratic equation. Number 1, x squared plus 3x raised to 4 minus 2x equals to 7. Just observe the terms of this equation. Anything unusual or anything that should not be included in the format of a quadratic equation? Yes, you're correct. There is an x to the fourth. So therefore, this equation is not a quadratic. Let's have number 2. X squared plus square root of 3x equals to 3. So what is unusual in here? Maybe you observe square root of 3. Yes, it's correct. It's unusual. But could you say this is a real number? Are you sure about it? Oh, yes, the square root of 3 is a real number. So therefore, this is still a quadratic. Number 3, x squared equals to 7. So simple. Okay. So we have x squared. Constant here is a real number. So therefore, it's a quadratic. Number 4, x squared over 3 minus x plus 2 equals to 0. On here, you observe that there is over 3. But this term can be written as 1/3 x squared. Could we still say that this is a quadratic equation? Yes, because 1/3 is a real number. We say this is a quadratic. And what about this one? 3 over x squared minus 2x plus 4 equal to 0. This time x squared is on the denominator. So this term actually can be expressed as 3x raised to negative 2. Take note that exponent here is negative. So therefore, this one is not a quadratic equation. Now, since also we already discussed the standard form of the quadratic equation, maybe we could proceed to this second example. Express the following quadratic equation in standard form, then identify the values of a, b, and c. So the first one, 2 minus x squared equals 5x. Now take note the requirement for a standard form, the right side must be equal to 0. So in this case, all we need to do is just make this 5x on the left side of the equation. So we have negative x squared minus 5x, then the plus 2 here equals 0. So from here, we could easily identify the values of a, b, and c. The a would be obtained from the coefficient of x squared. In this case, it is -1. The b would be the coefficient of x. We have -5. And c is the constant term, which is 2. Now let's try the second example. So I think we need to do some multiplication here, right? So let's try to distribute first. So we have this. We could also distribute this, and here, and this one. So we will obtain here 2x squared, -3x, +4x, and -6. But take note the requirement, the right side must be clear with terms. Okay, so we have to make it 0. So therefore, this 3, we need to put it on the left side. So in this case, it becomes -3. Now simplifying this equation, we will obtain 2x squared plus x minus 9. So similar to the previous example here, we could easily identify what's a, b, and c. So a, the coefficient of x squared, which is 2. B, the coefficient of x, which is 1. And c, the constant term, which is -9. So I think it's time for us to have our practice. So get from your educational toolkit and answer activity 1A. Now, if you have access to our LMS, you may also download this activity. Now, take note of the following. After you answer this activity, if your score in activity 1A is between 8 to 10, you can proceed and answer activity 1C. If your score in activity 1A is between 5 to 7, please watch this presentation again. Now take note to those wrong items, then you could answer activity 1B. However, if your score is less than 5, please contact me so that we could schedule a one-on-one meeting. Have a good day and enjoy answering. See you next time.
St. Stephen's High School is committed to Mandarin fluency. The Chinese language is more important now than it has been in any other period of our lifetime. Let's listen as Zhou Laoshi gives a very practical lesson on cell phones.
同学们，大家好！感谢慈爱的上帝看顾保守，大家平安健康。也感谢同学们今天收看周老师的绘画课堂。同学们，今天周老师带给大家的主要内容是产品介绍。看到我手中这款手机了吗？是的，今天我们就来一起学习如何介绍这款手机。那么我们开始吧。同学们，接下来我们进行第一部分的讲解介绍。无论我们向别人介绍地点、人物、物品的时候，我们都要先介绍名字，就如同作文题目一样，手机也是如此。首先，周老师告诉大家几个手机的品牌：苹果、华为、三星、小米、OPPO、vivo。那么我手中这款手机，大家都知道它的英文名字，那么它的中文名字是什么呢？是升级版苹果11智能手机。我们再来一次，升级版苹果11智能手机。非常好。介绍完名字，我们来介绍这部手机的外观。这部手机是墨绿色的，也就是深绿色。 大小为5.8英寸，彩色屏幕。那么我们总结一下前2部分我们的介绍。这是一款墨绿色的，大小为5.8英寸，彩色屏幕，升级版苹果11智能手机。记住了吗？接下来介绍这部手机的功能。它有3个摄像头，分别是超广角镜头、广角镜头和望远镜头。因此，它的摄像功能是独一无二的。另外，防水强、充电快，也大大的提高了它的价格。目前在市场上，它的价格大概7万比索。以上就是周老师对这款升级版苹果11智能手机的简单介绍。如果同学们有时间，你也简单的介绍一下你自己的手机好吗？最后，周老师希望同学们少出门，注意安全，勤洗手，口罩必备。再会了。
Understanding history, geography, and culture is an important part of a Stephenian education. Let's see which mental voyage Ms. Manalides' 7th grade social studies class will take today.
Hello, grade 7 students. How are you today? I hope that you are well and fine. It is another day to learn about Asia. And for today, we are going to explore places in Asia using technology. We are going to use Google Earth. It is a computer program that renders 3D representation of the Earth using satellite imagery. In our previous lessons, we have said that we can get the location of a place by getting its absolute and relative location. What is absolute location? That's right. It's the exact location of a place using longitude and latitude. How about relative location? That's right. It is the location of a place with respect to other location. Now that we have reviewed ourselves, let's have Philippines as an example. To get the absolute location of the Philippines, I would point to that word Philippines, and at the lower right part of your screen, you would see its absolute location. For the Philippines, it is 12 degrees, 37 minutes, 15 seconds north, and 122 degrees, 18 minutes, and 53 seconds east. Philippines is in the Southeast Asia. Its neighboring countries in the west are Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and Laos. In the south, we have Indonesia. In the eastern part of the Philippines, we have the Pacific Ocean. And in the northern part of the Philippines are Taiwan and China. Now, we can also use Google Earth to visit historical landmarks. Now, I would like to visit Luneta Park. So what I will do is to zoom in, look for Luneta Park, and here it is. So I can turn around and look at the whole place. If I want to take a souvenir, I can screenshot this page. Let's have another example. Let's say I would like to go to East Asia. So I will just zoom out, go to East Asia, and specifically, I would like to visit China, the Great Wall of China. So what I would do is I would zoom in, locate where's the Great Wall of China, and here it is. So again, I can turn around and screenshot the place for a souvenir. Did you enjoy our trip today? And now, for your task this week, it will be a group activity. I will divide the class into 5 groups, representing the 5 regions of Asia. For Group 1, it will be East Asia. For Group 2, Southeast Asia. Group 3, South Asia. Group 4, West Asia. And Group 5, North Central Asia. You will explore your assigned region using Google Earth. So what you need to do is to identify the countries in your assigned region and screenshot 2 historical landmarks in your assigned region. You can write this in a Word file and submit next week. If you have any questions for this task, feel free to email me. And that's it for today. I hope you have learned something. See you next meeting. Goodbye, class.
A Stephenian education does not end in the classroom. Though the venue may be online, our CSA and clubs will continue to meet. Our dance troops and Stephenian chorale will continue to rehearse, and our sports teams will continue to train. Let's see how our Filipiniana dance coach works with her girls.
Go. 1. Then, girls. Inhale, exhale. Turn right. Other side. Slide, cut, hop. Turn. Slide, cut, hop, turn. Slide, cut, hop, slide, cut, hop, slide. Turn, now waltz. 1, 2, redova. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay. Okay. That's it for today. We will have the figure 4, 5, and 6 on the next meeting. Okay? Okay? Filipiniana? Be clear, Filipiniana?
Clear, yes.
Okay. Thank you for today, and I'll see you again next meeting.
Technology is changing our world at a rapid pace. It is critical that our students understand it so they can shape it toward good rather than evil. Let's listen as Mrs. De La Cruz offers our 10th graders a lesson on basic electronics.
A blessed day to everyone. How are you today? I hope you are all in good health and safe. So for today's online meeting in robotics, we're going to discuss about LEDs using Arduino. Let us define first LED. LED, or light-emitting diode, is an electronic device that produces light when an electrical current is passed through it. LED is a small light bulb that works relatively with a small amount of power. So as you can see here, class, LED has two legs. The longer one is an anode pin and must be connected to any digital pin from pin numbers 2 to 13 on your Arduino board, while the shorter one is a cathode pin and must be connected to the ground. So now we're going to create a blinking LED program. This is the simplest program that we can do in robotics. What are the components that we need? Of course, we need the Arduino microcontroller, an LED in any color, a 220 ohms resistor, breadboard, and jumper wires. So for us to create our circuit and program, you need to log in your account in Tinkercad dashboard. So as you can see here, class, I have already designed the circuit for our program. The cathode pin is connected to the ground, while the anode is connected to pin number 10. The component between the anode and digital pin is a resistor. This will help to limit the current flowing to the LED to prevent it from burning. So now let's proceed to codes. I have initialized here a variable red LED, which best describes the LED that we use on our circuit, and it is connected to pin number 10. Class, please don't forget to include semicolon in every end of the line to prevent errors. Codes inside the void setup function will only run once every after power up of your Arduino board. So inside the void setup function, we use pin mode to configure the specified pin red LED and set it as output. This means that the Arduino board will prepare to send signals to the LED rather than receive. So this is the main body of your program. Codes inside the void loop function will execute on repeat or on loop as long as the Arduino board has power. So let's say we're going to turn on the LED. We use the digital write function, specify the variable name red LED and set it as high or on in Arduino. So to pause the program, we use delay. Let's say we're going to pause the program for a second or 1000 milliseconds. So this simply means that the program will pause for a second while the LED is on. And then this another set of code simply means that the program will pause for another second while the LED is low or off. So to check our program, we're going to click the Start Simulation button. So as you can see, the LED is on for a second and then will be off for another second. Do you have questions regarding our lesson for today? If none, let's proceed to our individual activity. For 20 minutes, you may explore or experiment the program that we have created earlier. You may add more LEDs or change the number of delays. If you have questions, you may log in your Google account, then go to our Google Classroom group. Comment your questions or concerns below the post about today's lesson. Questions or concerns will be entertained after 20 minutes.
It is important that our students love our country and its language. Let's discover what our 8th graders are learning today in Miss Laude's Filipino class.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Masaya akong makita na ang bawat isa ay nasa mabuting kalagayan. Sa araw na ito, tatalakayin natin ang ika-15 aralin ng Akdang Florante at Laura na pinamagatang Laki sa Layaw. Ngunit bago ang lahat, ano ba ang kahulugan ng salitang laki sa layaw? Maaari ba kayo magbigay ng mga kaugnay na pahayag o salita? Mahusay! Ang laki sa layaw ay kadalasang tumutukoy sa mga tao na bata pa lamang ay nabibigay na lahat ng luho. Ibig sabihin, ano man ang gusto o hilingin nila sa kanilang mga magulang ay nakukuha nila. Kaya kadalasan ang mga batang laki sa layaw ay lumalaking matigas ang ulo. Palawakin pa natin ang ating nalalaman ukol sa paksa sa pamamagitan ng pakikinig sa bahagi ng akda. Ngunit bago yun, nais kong iwan sa inyo ang katanungang ito. Ano ang paksa ng ating napakinggang bahagi? Nais kong tuklasin nyo ang kasagutan sa tanong na ito habang pinakikinggan nyo ang ating tatalakaying aralin sa araw na ito. Laki sa layaw. 15 aralin ng Florante at Laura. Saknong 197. Pag-ibig, anaki, aking nakilala, di dapat palakihin ang bata sa saya. At sa katuwa ay kapag namiyasa, kung lumaki walang hihinting ginhawa. Saknong 200. Para ng halamang lumaki sa tubig, dahoy malalanta, munting di madilig. Kinaluluoy ang sandaling init, gayon din ang pusong sa tuway maniig. Huli nating balikan ang tanong na iniwan ko para sa inyong lahat. Batay sa inyong napakinggan, ano ang paksa ng ating napakinggang bahagi? Mahusay! Ito'y tumatalakay sa pagpapalaki ng isang magulang sa kanyang anak. Ano naman ang kaugnayan nito sa pamagat ng aralin na laki sa layaw? Magaling! Ang pagpapalaki ng isang magulang sa kanyang anak ay may malaking epekto sa kanyang pag-unlad. Ngunit, paano ba dapat palakihin ng isang magulang ang kanyang anak? Mahusay! Ayon sa saknong 197, hindi dapat palakihin ang isang bata sa saya. Ibig sabihin, hindi dapat panay kasiyahan lang ang nararanasan ng isang bata. Dahil magiging mahina ito paglaki nito at lalaking laki sa layaw. Hindi ito magiging handa sa anumang pagsubok na ibabato ng buhay. Madali itong susuko dahil hindi sanay humarap sa anumang suliranin. Katulad ng halamang palaging dinidiligan. Kapag may sandaling init at hindi nadiligan agad, nalalanta na. Ganon din ang pusong nasanay lamang sa tuwa. Kaya nga inihambing ng may akda ang pagpapalaki ng isang magulang sa pangangalaga ng isang halaman. Hindi maaaring sobra o kulang ang pag-aalaga sapagkat maaari itong malanta. Katulad sa pagpapalaki ng mga anak, hindi dapat puro kasiyahan lamang. Kailangan maranasan ng mga bata na harapin at lagpasan ng mga pagsubok ng buhay. Kailangan nilang matutunang tumayo sa sarili nilang mga paa. Ito ang dahilan kaya may mga pagkakataon na hindi tayo napagbibigyan sa ating mga gusto. O may mga pagkakataon na pakiramdam natin tayo nag-iisa at hindi na nila tayo mahal. Hindi yon totoo. Nais lang nila na matuto kang tumayo sa sarili mong mga paa, na maging matatag ka at matutunang harapin ang hamon ng buhay. Matapos ang ating talakayan, nais kong pag-isipan mo at sagutin ang tanong na nasa iyong harapan. Dapat ka bang magtampo o sumama ang loob kapag may mga pagkakataon na hindi nasusunod ang mga gusto mo? Bakit? Hinatutuwa ko ang paglawak ng inyong kaisipan. Dahil dyan, nais kong sumulat kayo na isang sanaysay na nagpapahayag ng inyong kasagutan sa tanong na ano ang tungkulin ng mga magulang sa pagpapalaki ng mga anak? Ano naman ang tungkulin ng mga anak? Ang sanaysay na isinulat ay hindi dapat bababa sa 5 pangusap. Maghanda sa pagbabahagi ng inyong isinulat na sanaysay sa susunod na pagkikita. Mga anak, dito na natatapos ang ating talakayan. Maraming salamat hanggang sa muli.
An appreciation of Chinese culture is an important part of a Stephenian education. Let's listen as the melodious Liao Lao Shi tells us about the role of tea in Chinese society.
同学们，大家好！今天我们要上华语向前走第10册第3课茶文化。你们有喝过茶吗？你们知道茶的种类有多少种吗？茶呢，是华人社会 最有代表性的饮料。传说啊，神农氏在找药草的时候，发现用水煮茶叶，喝了茶水来喝呢，可以让人精神变好。慢慢的，茶叶就变成一般人的生活必需品。茶也深深地影响了华人的文化与生活习惯。茶的种类五花八门，五花八门是什么意思呢？五花八门就是种类很多的意思。茶的种类有红茶、绿茶、乌龙茶、香片、普洱等等，每一种茶的味道都不一样。华人喝茶可以泡一杯自己喝，也可以泡一壶跟朋友一起分享。华人常常跟朋友说：“哎，有空吗？来我家喝杯茶吧。”所以喝茶除了让人解渴以外，也是联络感情的方式。因此，不论是节日或者是重要的日子，茶都是少不了的饮料。茶现在传到世界各国，也成为许多国家饮食文化的一部分。像欧洲非常喜欢喝奶茶，对吗？现在我们菲律宾最疯狂的一种饮料是什么？珍珠奶茶，对吗？有的地区吃完饭喝杯茶，有的地方呢是一边吃一边喝茶。在我们马山街有一家广东式的点心楼 Causeway， 对吗？只要你一进去，服务生就会马上端一壶茶放在桌上，你可以一边吃一边喝茶。所以呢，茶已经成为世界上最普遍的饮料。现在茶叶不但可以泡茶，也还可以做菜呢，还可以创造出很多不同新的口味。如果你去百货公司，你可以看到有抹茶冰淇淋，也有抹茶蛋糕。这就是茶文化的新发展。现在看看廖老师给你们介绍的一些茶叶吧。这个是台湾带来的高山茶，也就是乌龙茶。这个呢，是我去广东的时候买的普洱茶，听说可以减肥，所以我就买来减肥一下。再来，女生最爱喝的玫瑰花茶，它泡起来的颜色是这样子的，有点咖啡色，闻起来非常香。还有现在台湾最流行的养生茶，就是蝶豆花茶，泡起来的颜色呢非常非常的漂亮，也非常的好喝，养颜青春。这个呢就是我常常喝的。还有呢，我特别要介绍，你看还没有装水的时候，它是一条黑色的龙，可是你装了热水以后，你可以看见它变成了红色的一条龙啊，很有趣。茶杯也是一样，还没有放茶的时候，它是黑色的龙，当你放茶了以后，它变成红色的一条龙。所以当你跟朋友在一起喝茶的时候，你看到茶杯是红色的龙，你可以趁热喝。但是如果你看到你的茶杯是黑色的一条龙的时候，表示你的茶已经凉了，就要换一杯了。如果同学们在写作业的时候想睡觉，不妨泡杯茶来喝吧。疫情过后，欢迎同学们来廖老师家泡茶。下节课见，再见。
Science is a study of God's beautiful creation. Through the study of science, we can better understand our Creator and better help our fellow man. We will take a short peek into Mr. Aguilar's 11th grade science class.
A blessed day, everyone. Welcome to this live session. I'm sharing with you my screen right now. Let me know if you are not seeing the PowerPoint. Take note that this session is recorded. Today, we'll have a discussion on the continental drift theory, think, pair, share time, and if time permits, an introduction to plate tectonics. As usual, keep your microphones and cameras turned off, and you may raise your questions and concerns on the chat box. The following are our targets, and I hope that at the end of this session, you'll be able to first describe the continental drift theory, and second, discuss evidence that support continental drift theory. Are you all ready? Great. Let's get started. About during 1600s, better world maps became available, and there was a pretty cool observation on the apparent fit of South America and Africa, just like pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. Little significance was given to this notion until a German meteorologist and geophysicist named Alfred Wegener wrote The Origin of the Continents and Oceans in 1915. This book sets forth the basic outline of Wegener's theory called continental drift, which dared to challenge the long-held assumption that the continents and ocean basins had fixed geographic positions. The continental drift theory, as Wegener proposed, suggested that there was once a single supercontinent consisting of all Earth's land masses, and it's called Pangaea. It can be read in this particular slide, the pronunciation Pangaea, which means all lands. According to Wegener, Pangaea began breaking apart about 200 million years ago. Other references would suggest an approximation of 220 million years ago, where the pieces or fragments of this supercontinent drifted to their current positions. In these illustrations, we can see how Pangaea became the modern-day continents. And in this particular part of the slide, we see the modern-day continents, but one is missing. Did you notice that? Which one is missing? Correct, it's Antarctica at the South Pole. And if you're going to look at Pangaea, here you can find portions of Europe and Asia. Greenland, North and South America were here. Africa was here. Portions of the Middle East and India were here. Australia was here, and then Antarctica was here. Let us now discuss pieces of evidence Wegener used in supporting the continental drift theory. First is the apparent fit of continents, especially South America and Africa, as shown in this illustration, supporting the continental jigsaw puzzle Pangaea. And in this particular illustration, as you can see, Pangaea, after millions of years, was broken into two pieces, Laurasia, which will become North America, Europe, and Asia, and Gondwana, which will later become South America, Africa, India, Australia, and Antarctica. The next evidence would be the similarities among the fossils found in different continents, like the Mesosaurus fossils that have been discovered in rocks from both South America and Africa. Mesosaurs were similar with the modern-day crocodiles that lived in freshwater lakes and ponds. Now, if the continents were in still their present positions, there is no possibility that the Mesosaurus would have the capability to swim across such a large body of ocean as the Atlantic because it was a coastal animal. Also, the similarities among mountain belts, rock types, and age of rocks like the ones found in Greenland, North American borders, as well as Europe were observed. And lastly, the paleoclimate or ancient climate of continents support the continental drift theory. Since continents drifted, their locations changed as well as other conditions like climate. Some deserted or arid portions of South America, Africa, India, and Australia were believed to be covered with ice in the past. There were striations or scratches left only by glaciers as it flowed and expanded. Arrows show how ice in glaciers moved, leaving marks on the rocks in certain continents as they once located at the South Pole. Here ends our lesson for today. And can somebody read the following points for the recap? Thank you. Are there any more questions? If none, let's proceed to the formative assessment. In this formative assessment, I would like you to think, pair, and share, wherein you'll have to answer these two questions. Don't forget to try answering the given questions on your own using the lecture notes I provided and the other resources available to you. Then select a partner with whom you will share your answers and turn in your answers on the Google Classroom post I made for Continental Drift. There I'll select answers that will be shared with the entire class. I also would like you to watch this video as an introduction to plate tectonics, which is our next topic. Thank you for joining this session. I hope that you learned something and you'll do the formative assessment. You may now leave the meeting. Have a great day, and in everything, give thanks. Goodbye, class.
The coronavirus and its quarantine have introduced disorientation and alienation among our nation's students on an unprecedented level. Their spiritual needs have never been greater. Suddenly, piercing the cacophony of social media and electronic noise, the ancient questions demand to be asked. Why was I created? What is my purpose? What is truth? Let's visit the 12th grade Christian education class of Pastor Gutierrez.
Welcome to Grade 12 Philosophy class. In this session, we'll be introduced to the philosophy of the human person. Some of you might be wondering, why would Christian education and philosophy be taught under one class? You might be under the impression that theology and philosophy do not complement one another. That's a good question. Well, we have to understand that in its original conception, philosophy works to find answers to most questions we have in life. Say, questions of origin and being. How things came into being, like the small basil plant and the soil in this pot. What makes a chair a chair? Or what qualities of a car that makes it distinct from other cars we see on the streets? Another is questions of purpose. Why do things exist? What is our purpose in life? Has anyone even wondered why mosquitoes like that exist? Well, I don't like them either, but they're actually important members of our ecosystem. So we'll try to answer that question through our lessons. It also helps us to find answers to the question of treatment or relations. How should we properly relate with one another? What is our responsibility to our environment? How do we understand and apply justice, rights, and responsibilities? And last, but certainly not the least, it also directs us to ask questions regarding the end of things. What is death? What comes after it? Is there something beyond this life? How should we live today knowing that sooner or later we will all die? Now, these are the kinds of questions we'll grapple with in this class throughout the school year. Then why with Christian education? We believe that theology, that is, right Christian theology, also deals with the same questions we often ask. You see, all of us, Christian or not, are theologians by nature. We hold a certain set of beliefs concerning the existence and governance of God over all of us and all things. I believe that Christian biblical theology serves as a good fixed guidepost on how we form our doctrines, points of view, and have good arguments. And the relationship that goes between philosophy and biblical theology is not just one way. As a pastor, philosophy helped me have a better understanding of Christian doctrines. It also taught me to form my arguments better so that they are clear and precise. Hopefully, it will also train you to think critically and help you to properly sort out truth from lies and fact from fiction. And finally, both philosophy and biblical theology have one more thing in common. Both of them direct us to pursue the right application of knowledge, resulting in wisdom. See, the term philosophy is a combination of two Greek words that mean love of wisdom. Similarly, God tells us through the book of Proverbs, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. Some of you might be worried that philosophy is a very difficult subject to take. Honestly, it's true because philosophy requires you to wonder and ask tough questions like who I am, or what is the responsibility of the state to its citizens. But I am here to guide you every step of the way. And to start, I want you to bring out the worksheet labeled Philo 1-1 that is included in your offline education toolkit or through our Google Classroom. Please answer the guide questions before we move to the next lesson. Aside from this, please watch the first episode of Crash Course Philosophy that is available through the Google Drive folder I have provided or through the flash drive also in your education toolkit. Lastly, included in your worksheets are your groupings and are scheduled to discuss the assignment online and offline. Today, we've dealt with a brief introduction to the philosophy of the human person, what are some of its practical benefits, and how it's related and mutually beneficial in our study of theology. In the next lesson, we'll cover the beginnings of Western philosophy. We'll get to meet Thales, Pythagoras, Socrates, and other great names in the ancient philosophy. We'll also discuss the basics of doing philosophy itself. So should you have questions about the lesson, please don't hesitate to ask me. Until next time, God bless, stay healthy and safe.
Thank you for attending this brief tour, a day of off-campus guided learning using internet tools. Every part of our students' lives have been disrupted. Their need for the Stephenian community has never been greater. That is why your administrators and teachers are working hard to ensure that each child will flourish in troubled times, that they will be like a tree planted by streams of water, which yield its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither. We are Stephenians, moving forward together.